Hello and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 40, and we are still in the 1934 Oscars. The movie I watched this time was Viva Villa, about Pancho Villa. And this one I had to get on DVD from Amazon, about $17, which is a little higher than I like to spend on these, but it was my best option. I am recording this on August 30th, 2024. I started the movie last night and didn't finish, so I had about a half hour left to watch this morning, which felt like a very long half hour, but I'll get into that in a moment. So this one, I'll give you the Wikipedia of it all. Viva Villa is a 1934 American pre-code film. And just as a reminder, 1934 was when the Hays Code really went into effect. But obviously some of these movies came out before. So this is a pre-code film directed by Jack Conway. It's starring Wallace Beery as Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa. Screenplay was written by Ben Hecht, adapted from the 1933 book Viva Villa by Edgecombe Pinchon and Obie Stade. The film was shot on location in Mexico, produced by David O. Selznick. There was uncredited assistance with the script by Howard Hawks, James Kevin McGinnis, and Howard Emmett Rogers. Hawks and William A. Wellman were also uncredited directors on the film. The film is a fictionalized biography of Pancho Villa, starring Beery in the title role and featuring Fay Wray, who played the leading lady in King Kong the previous year. Supporting cast includes Lee Carrillo, Donald Cook, Stuart Irwin, Henry B. Walthall, Joseph Skildkraut, and Catherine DeMille. Cinematography by Charles G. Clark and James Wong Howe. Edited by Robert J. Kern. Music by Herbert Stothart. Distributed by MGM and released on April 10th, 1934. A runtime of 115 minutes. Boy, did it. And made about $2 million at the box office. Cost about $1 million to make. Some production details. David O. Selznick began filming Viva Villa in 1932 in Mexico. Between filming and its release in April 1934, the film went through a development hell. Also, they started 2 years earlier. Initially, Lee Tracy was cast to play the role of Johnny Sykes. However, following an incident on a Mexican balcony from which he urinated on military cadets during a parade, he was fired from the film and eventually was replaced by Stuart Irwin. On September 29th, 1933, Pancho Villa's son, Pancho Agustin Villa Jr., was signed to cast in a role of a young Pancho Villa. The film also experienced script problems, requiring a change of as many as 3 writers and 2 directors, William Wellman and Howard Hawks, both uncredited. Viva Villa premiered at the Paramount Theater in Los Angeles on May 17th, 1934. When the film premiered in Mexico on September 7th, 1934, exploding firecrackers interrupted the showing. Wallace Beery was in 2 other movies that I've watched so far for this little experiment. The first was in The Big House from 1930, and the second was The Champ from 1932, both of which I liked. And I liked him very much in both of those. He's kind of comic relief in The Big House, and he was the champ in The Champ. So he's the main character, but still kind of comic reliefy. And that also had the little kid in it. I can't remember his name now, and so he was very good in that as well. He's charismatic. He's funny. And he was also that in this. But in 1934, when you needed to portray Mexicans, obviously you got a bunch of white dudes and white women like Fay Wray and Wallace Beery. So, that's a little cringy at this point in time, and, sticks out like a sore thumb. Whereas back in the day, it was perfectly normal. But so he was fine. Terrible accent. The other thing is he always plays, at least in the 3 movies that I've seen him in, he always plays the characters as a little dumb and, sort of street smart, but dumb. In The Big House, he was just dumb. But in The Champ, he was very street smart, but also, a little bit dim. And in this, he kind of plays it the same way. And I don't know that it really works that well for the character of Pancho Villa for me, because he's supposed to be this like Mexican revolutionary and stuff, and he just sort of badgers his way through stuff and blunders his way through stuff. So I don't know. And as it said, it's a fictionalized version, so it's not like it was trying to be true to all the facts of Pancho Villa. But yeah, some stuff didn't sit right. But it was fine at the beginning. I liked it, or at the beginning I wasn't sure, and then I kind of liked it for a little bit. But then this morning when I finished watching it, that last half an hour seemed to drag on forever. So it at 115 minutes, almost 2 hours, it was a little long in the tooth. And 2 hours is not bad. I'm fine with a 2 hour movie, but it just the end especially seemed to go on a little longer than it needed to. Probably some stuff in the middle that it could have cut out. There were a lot of shots of just like marching soldiers that they would put text over and kind of tell where they were in the story, which if you've listened to our other podcast, some of the podcast, it one of the things we always talk about is words at the beginning of the movie, the exception being Star Wars, or the exception that proves the rule being Star Wars. If you got to put words at the beginning of your movie, you might have too much going on. So it's just one of those things that bothers me sometimes. And this was like words at the beginning, words all through the middle. So they had way too much story to tell. And in 2 hours, they still dragged it out. So it was fine. See, out of these movies, I'd probably put it third. I think Here Comes the Navy, then House of Rothschild, and this, and then One Night of Love. And again, I can't remember my review of One Night of Love. It wasn't really that long ago, but that kind of tells me that I didn't love it. I don't remember much about it. Yeah. Anyway, this one was okay. Like I said, don't love that I had to pay $17 for it, but that's okay. It's another one down. So we got 6 more movies in this round of Oscars, and hopefully we'll get through them fairly quickly. So that's all I've got for this one. See you next time.